Once upon a time, in a code pen far, far away, lived Rocket. He was madly in love with Cursor. His only wish in the whole world was to tell her how he felt. But there was no way for him to do that since he was just a simple Rocket SVG. So he studied ancient techniques like HTML, CSS and JavaScript in the hopes of one day getting the chance to finally go up to Cursor and cuddle. One day his teacher came up to him and uttered the 3 magical words he had been waiting for. You are ready. Rocket hurried back to his code pen and started sketching on upgrades for his code. Alright, he said, we need some fumes, rotation, movement and a way for me to express my feelings and also make me look a bit nicer while we're at it. Let's start by creating a loop where we will put all our animation logic. We can use window.requestAnimationFrame and call our loop in there. Let's create some fumes. Start by creating a div with my width and height and coordinates. We can move it a bit to the left and right with a math.random so that the fumes don't just stack on top of each other, and then center align the content to the bottom of the div where we will put our fumes. We create the fumes using a span. I think it would look really awesome if they are different sizes. We can do this by creating a variable and use it on the width, height and border radius. Give it a white color and some opacity. As we know, fumes never stand still. They move and they kind of disappear after a while. So let's create an animation replicating this experience. Hook the newly created span into our div and our div into the body. Awesome! It's just a bit too much. Let's create a variable that counts each frame and we can use it like this to get only the amount of fumes we want. We are kind of littering the website with a ton of divs. Let's remove the div when the fume animation has ended. Next, we need to rotate and point toward Cursor as soon as she enters the code pen, so that when we start adding speed, we will be going the right direction. Fortunately for us, there's some really brilliant people on the web who already dived into the subject and has come up with a fine solution. We tweak it a bit to fit our code. Oh shoot, we need to update our fumes to follow the rotation as well. To be able to move, we need to do a bit of math. First, we calculate our distance to Cursor both for the x-axis and the y-axis. We use these to calculate a speed based on the distance divided by the frames per second. Now, if we imagine the screen as 4 sections with the cursor in the middle, the top left pixel starts at 0 and increases to the right for the x-axis and increases to the bottom for the y-axis. This is important for us when we are using the speed we calculated. For the x-axis speed, we will need to have a negative speed when we are to the right of Cursor and a positive speed if we are to the left of Cursor. The same way on our y-axis, we need to have a positive speed to go down and a negative speed to go up. Let's use some clever if clauses to replicate this in the code. Brilliant. We use the new X and Y in the transform property to move us closer to Cursor. To express my love to Cursor, I think a heart would go the distance. We can attach one to our side, but with an opacity of 0. And once we get close to Cursor, we can add a class that overrides the opacity with 1. I really like the color orange. Let's use it as our new color. Oh, and let's use a glow around me with a box shadow. Oh, there's Cursor! Hurry, save and update the code, quick!